Welcome to episode 347 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have a Blizzard Yikes update. Wonder what it is. Take a wild guess, and you'll probably be right. We also have just a grab bag of topics to get to, including the CDL Stage 5 Major. What a crazy weekend that was here in Tejas. Also, got a little bit of CSGO hacker talk that we will discuss with an interview from YouTuber Sparkles that we will highlight that we tweeted out earlier in the week. And maybe, just maybe, some Halo Tech preview talk. And then, of course, e-news. But first, I need to tell you about the show sponsor in Alt Esports. Check it out, altesports.com. You already know it, but I will repeat myself for the 100th millionth time that they are the best esports apparel money can buy. My AC was broken all last week, and now it is fixed. And I am happy to report my house is now an icebox. On the bright side, though, people are dodging it like crazy. Valorant joke. What's up? So that being said, though, I need myself a hoodie, Anuj. And where do I go to get my hoodie? That is altesports.com because I can pick myself up right here. I'm looking at it, an E-United hoodie. I can pick that up. I can pick up a very own 101 Burglars hoodie brought to you by your very own TCR. I can pick up a Crystal Skull hoodie with actual crystals on the hoodie to keep myself warm, which I will need to because, again, my wife is freezing me out of the house, which says a lot because I like it cold. But you can do that altesports.com.
Hey, this is Peter from NRG, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast presented by Alt. Episode 347 coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, August 4th, 2021. The time, 8:55 p.m. Central Time. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring, and you can join our Discord. The link is in the description there for you. And be a part of the conversation. Do that. You would be part of community night whenever we do those. You can jump right in. And any other night. The beautiful thing is, when you're in our Discord, any night could be community night. You just hit us up, and we're down. Typically, we're off the WoW grind. And so between now and September 28th, it's pretty much the best time to hit us up to play a game. So get us in there before the next MMO comes out, which is New World. And you got us. We've been playing Valorant. We've been playing some CS. Battlefield will come out here in about... When does it come out? October?
Yeah, October 28th.
Okay, so we got plenty of time to grind some other games. Plenty of time.
Battlefield beta coming up.
The beta? I think Anuj is in.
Well, they haven't let me know. I got the sign up page, so I signed up.
You signed up. You got the email about the sign up, which is more than I got. So hit us up on our Discord. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend. My friend that gets into every single beta, whether it be because he earned it or they just need to hit that minority card. It's my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
I will take that affirmative action and run with it because I do manage to get into every beta. It is kind of crazy that I never pulled the short straw on that out of the friends group. I'm in every single beta. It's kind of crazy. So looking forward to the Battlefield one. Hopefully that's also part of my roster of betas. Tim, I'm reading through my Cloud9 fanboy handbook that you got for Christmas last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking through it. Page 43, section 1A states that any Cloud9 merchandise or paraphernalia, whatever, cannot be covered up. So why is your chair covered up right now?
Because it's an ESL chair, not a Cloud9 chair, sir. You should know this because I bought it from you because your wife didn't like
It's
it.
a Cloud9 chair.
No, it's an
Does it
ESL
say
chair.
ESL?
It's an ESL chair because
colors?
I'm a corporate shill. As people would like to think.
So
No.
just the Cloud9 colors.
But I do have this on my bookshelf, which you can't see because the camera blurs it out. But I always have it handy. My Cloud9 rubber wristband.
Those were bigger than the Livestrong ones for a while.
Yeah. So as you can see here, right there, always in camera shot. As I put it up back on my shelf. So yeah, I forgot what we've been discussing. Oh,
What are we doing today?
betas. You really do get into every single beta though.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Battlefield makes the cut because that's one that I do want. Most of these betas that I get into, I maybe put a couple hours into it tops, and if it's really fun like the New World one and things like that, obviously I'll play a lot more. But most of them I don't really even mess with too much. The Battlefield one, the only thing that I don't like about it is I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I think it's like set times that you can log on and actually play.
That's always a beating.
That's kind of annoying because that'll usually mean it won't fit my weekend schedule. It's going to be like 2 to 4 p.m., 8,
Right,
8
right.
to 10 p.m. It's like, all right.
They are
so-
not gamer dad hours. I can tell you that.
No.
Like
no,
I
no,
need this
so
like 9 p.m. Like I need this at night.
you're giving a beta out. Just let it be open. Like, what are we doing? Shutting it down for like half the day?
You're not running updates. I know that. The game's pretty
No.
much done. Like, I see it. Though shout out Amazon actually used a beta for what it was meant for, which we'll get to in e-news. But
Yeah.
that's kind of shocking to see, and it seems like it's caught some people off guard. I have a funny story though for you before we get into the show. So of
Shoot.
course, air conditioning was out all last week. So last week I did the show from my in-laws' house, right? Because that's where we stayed at. Because it was like 95 in my house, and that's just not happening. So I get home, and yesterday I was starting to set up back the audio mixer and things like that because we got the show today. We didn't do one on Sunday because I just didn't watch anything last week being at their house. And I can't find the cable to hook the mixer up to the computer. Cannot find it anywhere. I looked in
So
the...
how are you doing it right now?
Well, so I'm like, we must have left it at her house, her parents' house. So she's like, all right. So after work today, we rush over there. I'm looking for it. Cannot find the cable anywhere. So in my head, I'm like, great. My kid probably grabbed it and it's gone. Like it's just somewhere, whether that be in the trash or in his toy box, he put it somewhere. And then my wife goes, well, did you not check that box of audio cables in your office? And my brain immediately froze. And I was like, why would I have checked there?
Why would it be in the one spot that it could be in?
And sure enough, we got back 30 minutes ago, Nooch. And there it was. At the top of my... a box...
You put it in there?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because again, when we were at their house, I probably just threw everything in there not thinking.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's actually my LAN box. So if ever I go to a LAN, it's just I have extra Ethernet
cables
extra
in there,
power
and-
cables, anything that I could think of. I just throw the cables in there, and it's just a little box that I take with me anytime we go LANing. And sure enough, there's the audio cable sitting right up top.
Hey, at least you found it. That's the win. Here.
Just in time for the show. Because if not, we were going to have another impromptu community night.
Well, maybe I wish you didn't find it.
Not the worst things.
Not the worst. Not the worst.
Kind of have that CS itch all of a sudden. We played some Valorant and CS over the weekend, and I got it back.
Played some Ascent during the community night. Streamed that for a little bit. That was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a different
Except for
type.
the random lag. That's the only thing that kind of irked me in the game. Is I know it's not our computers because we were both experiencing it.
Well,
at
and
the
even
same
people in
time.
Twitch chat were like, no, it's not you. The game's just not really optimized well.
It's part of the game. It's like
It's
no,
a feature.
that's not should be part of the game. That's not acceptable.
That's like
So-
to not get into the Halo talk, but that's like when people were having issues on PC playing Halo Infinite, and then like some people in the comments on Twitter were like, oh no, you know what I did? I locked my FPS at 30 and it played really well. Buddy, if I
Not
gotta
doing that.
lock it at 30 FPS, I'm not playing the game. Like I don't want to be like a PC snob here, but that's not happening. I didn't just spend thousands of dollars on this brand new PC and this ultra wide monitor to play your game at 30 FPS.
It's like just 30 FPS, black bars, and don't stretch it.
Settings down to low. Don't, for the love of God, don't alt tab. The game might not ever open up again. But that's
I've
it.
done away with that theory for me though, of settings down to low. I used to do that for every game to maximize my FPS. I've realized I'm not going pro in anything anymore, so now I just make the game
Might
look
as well
good,
make
so
it
I
look
enjoy
good.
it.
I
Yeah.
have my go-to settings. Like, and I think everyone's like this, right? Like any gamer has their go-to settings, especially if you're on PC and you can actually customize it. Like immediately, I turn lens flare off, lens flare
Motion
and bloom,
blur,
motion blur. What is games that you like? What is with who plays with motion blur?
screen shake, any gradient bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
why are these things even
I,
options in
like
game?
games that have like film grain. Oh, that's what
Yeah, it's
I
the
want.
worst.
I want my games to look grainy. Thank you for having that
Counter
default on.
Strike is the one exception to, you and I actually just went over yesterday, is the one thing where I'll have most things on the lowest setting and a couple of things
Competitive
raised
shooters
up.
are a little different, right? Because it's like sometimes if you have like all the particles turned way up, it's like for example, I play Counter.
Valorant, I play everything on high.
Yeah, but I feel like the way their graphics work, it's okay. Like for example, like with Counter Strike yesterday, first time playing on the new PC, so my settings are all jacked up because I guess it never saved. I thought it always saved on your account.
Anybody that was first personing Tim yesterday would have thought, if he wasn't top fragging, would have thought he was brand new to the game
Oh,
because
it
he had the
was,
crosshair that was bouncing around, the dots coming off. I mean, I didn't even know what was happening or what all those
but you know what?
different
Dominated.
dominated.
Like I top fragged. I almost dropped a 30 bomb. I think I had like 28 kills. So maybe I should just stick with all the default settings and just rock it. But no, I had to. It was just a night. That's how it's like. You never realized, if you ever want to know how picky you are about your settings, go to Counter Strike and change everything to default and see how. Save your settings folder, okay, so you can just go back and do it. But to see how much you customize of that game, because the default settings in Counter Strike for everything is horrendous.
It couldn't be worse. Well, and then, like if you're using an NVIDIA card or something, they have the pre-optimization,
Oh
and so it puts
God.
everything on like these high settings on there, and it's a terrible experience.
We need to, for the next guest that we try to get on the show, is I want to find the one person who uses the NVIDIA optimized settings for their games. Because there's only like one dude in the world that does that.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it for like WoW and then tweak things that I don't want to
Right.
be like that crazy. But I mean, now our computers are also good enough to where it handles good graphics and I still
Right.
get over 200 FPS. So in some games, I
Not
don't care. But
not too
competitive shooters, I'm not really doing that in.
not too concerned about it.
No.
All right, Anuj. Well, it is Wednesday. It is our first show of the week, and that can mean only one thing, and that is yikes of the week. Now,
Special edition.
special edition, and it happens once every, maybe once a year. There is a story that hits the world of esports that is so big, so full of yikes, that it reoccurs. And I would say maybe by like episode 3, we're like, okay, we need to just dedicate yikes of the week to this. And I'm
The world of gaming, not even just esports.
True, very true. Very true. I think the last one that did this was the Me Too situation in the Smash scene, where it was like, it felt like for 2 months, every yikes of the week was like, might as well talk about it because
Yeah.
it was just,
The doc thing is probably one that kind of stands out too in recent, like in the past
yeah,
year, that kind of just took over the headline news for a while. But
yeah, where
yeah,
we kind of talked
they
about
come
it.
every so often. We get blessed with a topic that seems to never want to get off of our yikes list, and this is definitely one of them.
And to no one's surprise, we are talking about Activision Blizzard because the last couple of weeks, it was the breaking news. And then it was okay, employees are starting to talk. And now
Like
the yes, the
walkout.
walkout, the
Then we had
stories
all
from
the apologies from all the heads of
Mhm.
different departments, and now we're getting to phase 3.
Phase 3 is the scapegoats, the firings, the layoffs that are happening now at Blizzard. And so far, first off, I've even heard from the names that we're about to talk about, I have heard that there are a number of people that have been let go in the company related to this, but like low level people. So like, I guess their names aren't important enough to be included in headlines or articles, but I
Yeah, but
have
like
heard,
Order 66 was just called at the beginning of this week.
right. I have heard per sources that there are more people that have been let go than just what we're seeing. So there's that. And I also want to make it clear that a lot of the people that have been let go have not been let go because of this, right? It's just, oh, I'm stepping away for a new opportunity.
That's the best part. It's like I'm leaving for new. All of y'all are leaving for new opportunities, like right now.
Right, right. We're, you get a divorce to look for new opportunities, not because you had an affair and cheated on your wife, but no. I'm leaving her for new opportunities. So we did have the president of Blizzard, J. Allen Brack, step down. Again, he's the one we're making fun of for stating new opportunities. So now you have him stepping down. The head of HR is no longer there, which I think is like one of the biggest ones so far, as far as like if you're involving this sexual assault workplace scandal here, because HR was kind of highlighted through a lot of this early stories where it's like people would go to HR and it would just make matters even worse. Which,
in a selfish way, Tim, like these guys leaving, like good for two reasons, right? You take out the people that are, I don't know if they were involved or not, right? They're like we said, they're just like
right. Yeah, like they're
leaving
just being let
coincidental time.
go.
But it's not the worst thing for them to maybe clean house with some of these groups, because even Blizzard is not, like we've talked about it so much. They haven't done a good job in other areas also, right?
Right.
Take away the sexual harassment and discrimination and all that stuff. Well, their games have also sucked as of late for the most part. So it's like it could be like a win-win. You get rid of bad people that are doing bad things, and
Which
at
is
the
really
same
the
time,
worst part, right?
yeah,
Like if you
100%.
if you're gonna have, like, this is what I always say, Anuj. If you're gonna have sexual assault at work, at least make a good game.
At the very least, give me something playable.
Like 343 Studios, after they release Halo Infinite, if it's good, by all means, smack someone on their ass at work the next day. I'm okay with it.
Tell them good job.
right, boy or girl, just a little nice smack on the tush for a good job. I'm fine with it if your game's good. But Blizzard, their first mistake was making bad games all of a sudden. That's my 2 cents on this.
Like, this only gets worse, Tim, because there's a couple other stories here that came out this week of, we heard obviously about the pictures that were passed around, and the unfortunate woman that committed suicide due to like the harassment and all that was going on there. Obviously, we had all the shitty apologies that kind of came out, and then comes a couple of stories here that I was like, oh shit, like how deep and bad is this, where you have an IT worker secretly filming colleagues in work bathrooms, like everybody's biggest nightmares to be filmed secretly in any place in your life, especially the bathroom. And then on top of that, at a job fair, they asked somebody who was applying for they called her a hacker. It could be like ethical hacking or something, right?
Right, yeah,
Pen,
I
pen
assume
testing. There's like a lot of things related there. My guess is she is some sort of like
programmer
she's
thing.
probably a tester. And the joke they made was if she liked being penetrated at the job fair, because a pen tester is like it's a short pen for penetrate. And so, they made those are the kinds of jokes that they're making at job fairs, like at public settings. Like imagine what's going on behind closed doors and what they're saying. If they're comfortable enough for employees to not be worried about saying stuff like that. I always know there's going to be shitty people at any company, right? But it's for people to be so blatantly like, I'm gonna do like that doesn't happen everywhere. Like most companies are civil, and maybe somebody's bad outside of work, but to come into your job and be like, yeah, I'm going to record the bathroom, I'm going to say this stuff at job fairs, like that's pretty crazy. Like I mean, that means this is like so widespread amongst lower level and I take it obviously upper level management.
Yeah, like if you're public recruiters at a job fair doing this, it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's bad.
You're attracting people to your company, and this is the joke that you're making here.
And I do love throughout all this is you got Bobby at the top just completely just avoiding any point of responsibility of any of this. Like he just had no clue. Like he like, what guys, I had no idea. I mean, I
Which
know
is
I'm the
just as big of a problem for your
yeah, of course.
like
If it's
CEO
true,
not to know
if
this
he
is going on.
if he truly doesn't know. Now, I would bet my first child that he actually did know that something was going on. He might have not known the nitty-gritty details because I can't imagine. Bobby doesn't seem like the guy who mix and mingles with the people of his company, but I would have to imagine he was made aware at the least of half of this stuff.
And the crazy thing is, like, I wouldn't bet my first child on this, but I don't think he loses his job after it's all
No,
said and done. Like when you are making your investors so much money and the company itself is doing as well as they are, like those are the people that need to be calling for his head. And I don't really see that happening. I see fans calling for the head, but
of course, of
we don't
course,
really matter as we've come to learn and find out over time, to
no.
companies like we're the least important part here. And so cancel culture is pretty huge right now, and it's kind of surprising that he's still in the position he's in with all of this swirling around his company.
Speaking of the investors, they're even getting sued by said investors, Blizzard and Activision are, because the company failed to disclose the ongoing problems with sexual assault and discrimination. So obviously, because remember, it was a couple years ago where the state was investigating them originally for this, and I guess it wasn't disclosed then that it was happening. Now, I have no idea like the ins and outs of corporate legal lawsuits and if they can get away with this saying like, well, it's we didn't report it because it technically was just like a warning, like the state didn't do anything until just now. I don't know.
Or we didn't say it because like we knew it would look bad.
Right. Right. We purposely withheld information, so I don't know, but either way, this definitely it's just it seems like each time it's going to get worse and worse and worse until eventually they just have brand new people. Because even with like this J. Allen Brack leaving the president, like even people are like, okay, well maybe he wasn't involved with it, but now this just puts Bobby more power, right? Because he was kind of like the last defense of it. Now I think he's only been with the company though since like 2017, 2018. So it's not like he has a whole lot of skin on the wall at the company as far as like the good years, but still.
It's kind of been there for the bad years.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know. There is a level of sadness for me throughout all this too, though. Like as we're seeing more and more stories and people being let go and everything. Like me, I'm such a softie in all this. Like, of course, the sexual harassment and everything is not good, but in a perfect world, none of it would have happened. Because I just hate seeing like,
Well, we're all watching the demise of a company that we grew up loving.
yeah, it's
So
just it's
that's what
sad.
sucks, right?
It's
Like, that's
sad.
the part that is sad to this whole thing. It and people eventually will just realize that this is not the company that you fell in love with. I mean, that's kind of just the truth to it. It's not that company. It hasn't been that company for a long time. Um, the culture that they've now built is demoralizing. It's just sad to think about what they've done to the Blizzard name. Like it doesn't hold that same. The only thing that's valuable about Blizzard that I feel like people look forward to, they still look forward to BlizzCon, and only because that's the one opportunity where you can rely on hopes and dreams of that next big thing is coming out, and that's why BlizzCon is still so popular. Is because everybody's kind of hoping for, okay, we're gonna get something, we're gonna get something,
Yeah,
and
if you
even
thought
that.
the protests at the BlizzCon we went to were bad, though, just wait. Just wait till now.
Well, now that it's all gonna be online for the next 2 years, is my guess. Like,
Yeah,
they're
if
not
anything,
bringing
they're
it on
probably
back in
like,
person.
thank God.
They're
Like,
gonna wait for everything to settle down before they do that in person again. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely yikes worthy. Not gonna be surprised if this pops up again. We're gonna continue to update you guys on this, just because again, for the same reasons that we feel sad this is happening to the company, we know there's a lot of attachment to Blizzard, and so we'll keep you guys updated as more information comes out. Probably not going to talk about people just leaving as
no,
much,
no,
but
no.
any
Because
big
I really
findings.
feel like the president is kind of the biggest one other than Bobby. right? Other
Yeah,
than the
like that would be
CEO.
the only thing that we would probably mention in terms of people leaving is like if
Everyone
he
else is
were to
kind of
leave.
already left that you would care about, right?
Yeah.
So one
Yeah.
other thing that we didn't discuss, and we don't have to talk about a whole deal, but I guess it's my dumb brain didn't think about it until it just came up, but how this is going to affect their esports side, their Overwatch League and CDL. T-Mobile pulled out of all sponsorships. And T-Mobile was like their biggest sponsor. Like we went and went at BlizzCon for the World Cup. T-Mobile was everywhere you looked. It's all over their broadcast. They sponsored teams. It's all gone. T-Mobile is out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's gonna hurt. I mean, for Overwatch is probably the last thing on anyone's mind over there right now, would be my guess, right? Until Overwatch 2 comes out and then they
Right.
try to bring it back and do whatever they can. For Call of Duty, you know, how much this will affect the esports scene, I think is still TBD because I think right now we have a lot of accusations with a lot of fact finding going on at the moment, and people are figuring out what happened. There's still,
It will bounce back
work
because we've seen
process.
it in other
Well,
corporate
it just
worlds.
depends on what they find, right?
Yeah.
If it comes down that this shit was happening, like really was happening as widespread as we're right now believing that it is, you're going to see more sponsors pull out, and then this becomes a much bigger problem because not only are you losing the ones that you have, but it's going to be very difficult to find more at that point. So that's also a TBD to see how much this is really going to affect the overall esports, you know, whole side for them.
Might be going back to TOs hosting. If they can't host their own leagues here, we'll have to wait and see. All right, so there it is. Update to the Blizzard. Yikes, that it will never end. Hand them the Timmies right now for Yikes of the Year. All right, let's get into some of these grab bag discussions, Anuj, because we have some quick hits that we wanted to discuss. First thing on the discussion board, let's talk some Halo Infinite Tech preview, since you and I both, I want to say lucky, but even 343 said they gave it to the best influencers out there, so I guess it makes sense that we were there. But we both had a chance to play over the last, I guess, week or so, however long it was. Some of the Halo Infinite Tech preview. I would say, well, first off, let's go over some of the brackets here. So they've announced for their esports, it is going to be cross-platform and cross-input. So if you want to use a mouse and keyboard, you can. If you want to use a controller, you can. It's all non-discrimination. You
I
can do
think
whatever.
Xbox and PC. So like you could be playing on your. It's not
That's
like you only have to plug a mouse and keyboard into your Xbox. I think you can also like
yeah.
be
That's
a
the way
bit.
I interpret it. Is like it's
Yeah.
truly crossover. Like it's
Yeah.
not like CDL is, um, all on a PC that they plug a controller in on the PC. This is not. I think this is all whatever. But either way, you can use a mouse and keyboard, or you can use a controller. Played. And then other than that, I think that's kind of the big things that they announced, other than obviously it was a tech preview. So first off, on the mouse keyboard cross-platform thing, to me, it's going to sound like a cop-out. It's a wait and see, right? If it's anything like what Master Chief was, because tech preview was not cross-platform, right? We were only against PC. So, and you were only against bots that were God mode, by the way.
Yeah, I think unless you like played at a certain time, you were playing only against bots 99% of the
Yeah.
time.
So I think it's a wait and see. Obviously I don't love cross input for the sake of competitiveness, just because I have yet to see a game balance the aim assist for a controller yet. I just feel like there's always that unfair advantage when it comes to it. I don't care what controller people say. Well, your mouse and keyboard, you can have more precision. That's not the point. The point is you have auto aim to a certain extent, right? So from a competitive level, it bothers me, but I guess it's just a wait and see. 343 is saying, like, don't worry about it. We figured it out. It's not an issue. So we're going to have to wait to see when the beta gets to the point of cross-platform.
Yeah, I mean that truly is a wait and see. It's going to be it's so hard to judge because now they even added this stupid little feature on mouse and keyboard that says like aim assist also,
Like
and people
bullet
kind of ran
magnetation.
wild with that. And
Yeah.
you and I tested that out and realized that it made Like we almost felt better with it off than on, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
turned it off and on in the preview, and I honestly, if it's there, it's not strong, right? Like it did not feel.
It wasn't anything that I noticed at all.
No,
Yeah, like on or off, I didn't notice it either way. So I left it on because if there is some sort of bullet gravity or something, great, but wasn't strong enough for me to notice any. It's not like it was pulling at all.
no.
And so we did play 3 different maps this weekend. So we got a chance to try out 3 different maps and I had Timmy kind of showing me around in terms of looking for the timers, and those are the things you're keeping an eye out for. And
Yeah, cause you are like you are not Halo player. I grew
no,
up
like,
on
I know
Halo.
things were on like timers, but like I didn't realize really the importance, how important it is to
Like
like really
you
get to
live
where you
and
need to
die
go.
on map control in Halo. Like when you're actually playing as a team, it's all map control to control those power weapons.
And I forgot how shitty like the assault rifle is in the game. Not the battle
Yeah,
rifle, but like the starting gun that we had.
no
I
one
was like,
uses it.
"Oh, this is like trash. No wonder you have to like find where all these guns
Yeah.
are because they're significantly better." So
Typical
I
MLG settings won't have you don't have to worry about it.
start
Typically,
off with the
yeah,
battle rifle, hopefully.
yeah,
Yeah. Overall, I would say I really actually enjoyed it. It was a pleasant experience. I thought there was several bugs that
of
they need to fix
course.
between now and launch, and a couple of them was just like some random glitchiness in weird
A
areas.
lot of
Like it just
crashes. My game crashed a lot.
the settings menu I thought was really rough. I wasn't a fan of like just the overall menu. Now it didn't help that our settings kept
Resetting,
resetting, and when he did keybinds and all that, that was very frustrating. But I assume that those are things that won't happen when I'm playing it live. So I give a little bit of a
right?
pass there because I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
and I know
if
a
my
lot of people like
keybinds constantly reset, I'm just not going to play your game, honestly, at that
and
point.
right, yeah, and we saw people complain about like stuff like this on Reddit and Twitter, and and you made a good point over the weekend. Is this is not even a beta? Like they are not. This is a closed invite only tech preview. Like this was solely for them to get information. It
Yeah.
wasn't to server test. It's not to stress test. It wasn't to get as many people in to preview the game. This was a
They wanted as many people playing on different configurations to see
right.
where issues were happening. And
Yeah.
so,
So I
I
think a
mean,
lot of like the issues, a lot of the bugs like you were talking about were probably if honestly if you were asking them expected.
yeah,
I don't think that's a
I think some
far-fetched.
things like the glitchiness of like the world around the map, not necessarily in the map that you were playing,
Right.
but crap happening in the background. Sometimes always wasn't the smoothest. You kind of hope that they clean that stuff up. But overall, just the shooting, the gunplay, the movement, like I know sprint is a controversial topic for a lot of you guys. I did not mind it. I kind of liked having the sprint ability, although I forgot to use it at times. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I can sprint.
Right.
I did like that. I mean, I thought the gunplay to me felt really good. There were several guns that were fun to use. The battle rifle in particular, I thought was so much fun to use. Like I started hunting that down every chance I got to get it, get another shot off with it.
It's a four
Um,
shot kill, 4-shot headshot. It's a kill.
yeah, like it just really felt good. Like I didn't I was pleasantly surprised. Now I
Yeah.
do think that I still worry about the issue of longevity with the game outside of just the core Halo community. When I say, and that's a big community, okay? That's not a
Right.
small community, so it's not to say that this is not going to be like big. I just worry that it didn't feel different enough to me to attract people that didn't like Halo before or didn't care to venture over from PlayStation to Xbox before. Maybe they're a PC player now and or they played Halo and they liked it, but they didn't love it. It doesn't feel any different. Like, you're getting the
It's Halo.
same
If
Halo experience.
yeah.
So
But
if that's what you guys are looking for, if you're looking for a Halo game, that's exactly what I feel like they're delivering here.
and that's what I was
Um,
going to say because I think there were a lot of people on the other side of that spectrum like myself who did not like Halo 5 because it didn't really feel like Halo. It felt kind of more like an Advanced Warfare Call of Duty-esque type of game, right? This I felt like was a perfect balance. It was a perfect blend of old and new. You know, like the shooting and all that. It felt like old Halo, but you still had the sprint. You could still climb up walls. You know, it wasn't, it didn't seem like crazy fast pace in the sense of like people just zipping by and, all that.
No,
Didn't
no.
feel like that. It felt like, map control, some teamwork, some, all that was going to play a part. I enjoyed it. Like any Halo, you got to wait until you play MLG settings, right? MLG settings. It's an old habit to break, but pro settings, right? You got to see what the pros are playing on because that's, to me, that is Halo. But Halo also has a huge community side. Like when they start getting more people into these previews or betas, whenever they're going to call them, like big team battle, the casual game modes and stuff like that.
Dude, having the vehicles and all that in there.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I'm looking more forward to that than being like, oh, let me
right.
grind the 4v4 comp
Because
side.
that's going to be something where it's like all of our buddies who aren't even FPS players can get in and dick around on. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go dick around, and there's going to be battle passes, and they had the stores open for this, and it seemed fine.
Did you think graphically the game looked any different than like the last Halo? Like, did
Oh,
it feel like it looked next gen to you?
it felt like it looked nice, but I know where you're going with this. I read, and I have no idea if this is true. I read that the graphics were not 100%.
Like the build we were playing.
Right, is not like
I just don't.
the
I
polished
guess
build.
it'll be interesting to see how much better it can get than that, in the sense of like, I mean, we still probably got the general idea of what we're getting
Right,
in terms of visuals. I'm curious to see what more they add. It'll also be really interesting to see that on the single player side, because
right.
then you're kind of exploring a whole open world. But I did feel like just playing in the few maps that we played on, it kind of almost, not only did it play like Halo, but it kind of just looked like the other Halos. Like it didn't seem a lot different. Again, I liked it, so I'm
Aesthetically,
not
it was
even.
very Halo.
It was
You
just
are correct on that. But
it was
again, I'm
just
excited.
like
I'm excited. I'm excited. I will say though, the menus were rough. Not even just like performance wise, but it felt like if for PC people who are used to just quick menus that made sense, this felt like a console menu to me. Like
I mean, especially for all the character customization they want you to do and gun
yeah,
customization that they
it
want you to
just
do.
felt like
It felt like
Destiny
really
1.
bad to like have to.
Yeah, I don't like they gotta, I don't know, either do it differently for PC or just make it better because it was not pleasant to go through the menu system.
No.
Apart from the bugs, like you were saying, like with it resetting every time, that's whatever. That will get fixed. Whose ever, and this might have been a thing in Halo 5, I don't know, I didn't play it enough. Whose ever idea was to use custom armor in a red versus blue type game mode should be fired immediately.
That's true. I forgot about that. That was an issue.
Like you're on blue team and there's a dude on the enemy team wearing blue armor. So my brain is saying don't shoot, but then he has like a thin red outline to show that he's the enemy. I don't know. I don't like that. He should be in red armor because I'm on blue team. That's how it should be. So maybe that's I'm complaining about nothing here. So maybe that's not the thing in the pro. I don't know. But other than that, I no big complaints. It was a tech preview. It got me excited for the next one. Mission accomplished.
That's really what it did. Is it got me excited for the next one, to see what else there is, to do some actual player versus player. The bots were pretty damn good.
Oh my god, the bots don't miss.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't miss.
They don't miss.
Like if you miss on a bot, their bots are good. I'll give them that. Their bots are good. Not like we won every time. They weren't that good, but they would they'd mess you up.
They were good enough to put up like 15, 20 kills though.
Yeah, oh yeah. No,
You
they would mess you up with their nades and everything. So, anyways, if you were into the preview, let us know what you think of it. If you get into the next one, go ahead and sign up because I don't know when it's gonna be, but I'm assuming they say holiday 2021. I'm gonna assume it's like Christmas 2021.
Yeah, we're not getting this like before. We're getting this right around the turn of the year.
This is late holiday, I would have to
Yeah.
assume. Maybe, and they don't even have to worry. It's free to play, so they don't even have to worry about like the Christmas sales.
No,
Maybe single player, I guess. Who knows? But
it's all digital now anyway, though, so it doesn't matter.
No, yeah, you're right. All right, second topic of our grab bag, the CDL Major 5 here in Arlington, Texas. And we did not get a chance to go because one thing they don't tell you about getting old and having kids is sometimes your weekends aren't yours, which is fine. But sometimes the wife does not care that you want to go watch video games. So we had to watch it at home. So that's fine. That's fine. But Anuj, goddamn, did we miss a good one?
I mean, yeah, if we would have been there for that very last match, we really missed what possibly might not happen again in our lifetime of watching COD. Because, as for those of you that don't know, Minnesota Rocker had the what we believe to be the biggest comeback in Call of Duty history. Now, granted, Best of 9 has only been around since last year, so that's a little new and gives the opportunity for it. Minnesota Rocker were down, Tim, 4-0, 4-0, and came back and won this 5-4. And this wasn't one of those being up 4-0, but every map was a came down to a round 11 or a couple seconds on the hard point. No, they were Toronto was thrashing Rocker. I mean, it looked done. People were leaving the stadium from what I heard. Um, they were already engraving the names on the trophies. They were setting up the champagne in the back for in the locker room for Toronto. And then these boys just stepped up and got a chance to watch the finals, and that was some of the best rounds of COD that I've seen from a team in a 5-game stretch. I mean, to play fairly flawless and turn it around like that, I can't recall a time I've ever seen a team be able to really pick themselves up off the floor and be like, okay, we can do this, believe it, and then actually go do it.
Yeah, it's crazy too because we saw this last year with the last major of CDL where it's like teams you have it's the perfect storm of teams are mentally getting ready for champs. So you have some that are just checked out like phase, and then you have other teams where it's like they're still hungry. They're the middle of the pack like Minnesota. Toronto's actually number 2 in the league, but Minnesota middle straight in the middle, number 6. And so yeah, for them to come back, I mean, to even make the finals was I think already a win. You're already playing with house money if you're Minnesota. But then to actually make that comeback and stick. Hell, you could have made it all the way to the final map and still lost, and I still think you would have gotten a lot of respect and credit from the fans, right? They would have been like, dude, you made it all the way back to the ninth map. You're good, right? But the fact that they actually closed it out, defeating Toronto, who's been a really good team all year long.
The second best team probably in the league right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're going into champs pretty confident right now, right? Them and FaZe. Yeah. If you haven't watched it, you have to go back and watch the finals for Stage 5. At least just watch that. Now, our buddy Kevin, friend of the show, was at the event. Now he did leave early. He did leave the finals early. So he was one of those people. He did not see it live, but he also texted me because maybe he's been to Call of Duty events. I don't know. Maybe this is his first one. But I texted him. I was like, "So how is it? I won't be able to make it out." And he's like, "Man, Optic lost and everyone just left." And I'm like, yeah, that's how that works." Like if you've never been to a Call of Duty event, the second Optic loses, I would say capacity drops like 60%.
Think of it like you're going to a homestand for a team, but somehow every homestand is an Optic event. Like every single
Yeah.
game, every event is an Optic event, and it doesn't matter where it's at, doesn't matter what state it's in, doesn't matter what other teams are involved, but 50% at least of the audience are true like diehard Optic fans, and that really hasn't changed even after the whole fiasco of losing Optic and going to a new name and now rebranding back to Optic. Like they have held that fan base, and I actually think that's pretty awesome that they're able to do that. Like it's something I look forward to seeing at Call of Duty events is either rooting for them or you're rooting against them. It's kind of like the Yankees in that sense. And so um Yeah, for Kevin, if you didn't realize that, now you know, and that's not a Texas thing. Like I said, you will see that at any Call of Duty event you go to.
Yeah. Wolf says in Twitch chat that he feels like there should be a small change to the bracket to where the winner round should be closer to the finals. So I've actually said this on previous shows before. I don't like the way they do the bracket for the majors in general. I it just seems like the winner side is so light to me. Like if
You don't have to do a lot to make it all the way. I mean,
no,
like you're really, it's because they skip 2 rounds, right? There's two
right.
rounds that are, before they even start playing. Um, I do agree with Wolf there though that Toronto came in playing off of playing a game and comes in hot. Minnesota is coming in cold, not playing that day. And that is a difference. Like, if I'm in the server for a couple of hours getting like land time in this case, that's a big difference. And so I don't really like how they do that, but I do like that it's not a bracket reset type situation. I think in Call of Duty you could probably get away with
They
that and
used to
do it.
do it. They
They used
used
to,
they
yeah,
used
but
to.
I'm kind of okay with the 9 game format because I really do think in 9 games you generally find out who the better team is, right? And Call
Yeah.
of Duty is short enough to where you can do a best of 9, and I'm not watching all day. Like I'm only putting
Mhm.
in maybe 2 hours of time, and you kind of
Well,
get through it.
and like you said, first off, yes, Call of Duty is a game you can do that because the matches are so quick, the maps are quick. Also, I think you do want, like, if you're trying to sell tickets for like Sunday, you don't want an Overwatch situation where, like, with the Overwatch League, where you sell out an entire stadium to go watch, and then they play 2 maps and they're done, right? It's like you can't have just because yes, if the losing team, if the losing bracket side wins, sure, you have a bracket reset, everyone's hyped as hell and they're ready to go. But if that winner bracket just wins 3 maps and it's done, like a 3 map sweep and it lasts an hour, you can't sell people on that when it comes to actually exchanging money for it. So I mean, I get it. I get why it's the best of 9. I get why they want to put 2 matches in there for the losers final and all that, but I don't know. I think in my perfect world, championship Sunday would be winner bracket final, losers bracket final, and then grand final. In the event that you would justify, yeah, the losers get to be hot going into the finals, but they also had to play 3 matches that day. So
Yeah, they're probably pretty worn out at that
right,
point
they're
before
hot, but they're tired. So I mean, and maybe that's not even fair. Like they're look, the issue with esports is it's this weird situation, like with Call of Duty. Like I was just saying, the matches are quick, so it's like you can't just have 1 match on a Sunday.
no.
It's just not even worth going out to the
I
venue.
get why they're doing it the way they do it. I don't love that the one team gets to come in off of playing like a best of 5 series, right? Because that's not that long, but it's enough time to get like warmed up and get the blood going and get the initial surge of adrenaline that's hitting your system, kind of get that out of your system a little
Right.
bit and go into the finals a little bit more settled. But it's not bad the way it's
This is what.
done.
So Wolf mentioned to Twitch chat that he heard that Rocker had to scrim their coaches to get practice in before the finals. This is where Minnesota. This is where they goofed. Okay, because I kind of put this on Minnesota. Teams need to have the buddy system at these events, and you need to find a team that's going to be there till the end, right? And then that's your warm up partner for the like. So, say if Minnesota's making it to the finals, maybe at some point when they realize that, they hit up Dallas Empire and saying, guys, look, if you make it to the finals, we'll stick around to scrim you beforehand for warm up. Will you do the same? Or something like that, right? It's like you
Yeah.
need to have that communication with the other teams in there to say, look, dudes, like we're all in this same boat. If we're getting to the winners and the grand finals, we're in this weird situation where we're going in cold. Can we warm up against you? Like you see that all the time in the Smash scene, right? For Super Smash Brothers, whether it be Melee or Ultimate, pros are scrimming and warming up against other pros to get ready. So that's not
Yeah, like
completely uncommon.
I would make that deal with like London, Paris, Gorillas, give them something to do past the first day.
Right.
Like once the event is over for them, They're
And
just
they'll
sticking
probably
around for fun anyway.
they'll appreciate it because they played one match and they're done.
Yeah, like for
So,
them, this is like also extra screen time. So like
get in
partner up with
there.
one of these
They're
guys.
playing against a top tier team, so it's helping them, right? But if you
Yeah.
just say, hey, look, we just need to warm up. We just need a functioning team here on a pro level to warm up on. That's not our coaches. I think that's honestly what you have to do. That's really the
Or
only
they
answer.
can hit us up.
Or yes, or you can hit us up and we're mouse and keyboard, but
We don't have the game.
you'll have to buy us the game. But let us download it first, and then we can play. Then we'll warm up.
After we tweak our settings, of course.
So there you have it, stage 5. Now we have champs coming up here towards the end of the month, August 19th through the 22nd. It is going to be in LA. We will actually be in Philly, which we'll explain in coming weeks here. But so looking forward to that. The teams obviously are set, given that the regular season is done. So we'll do a full preview, but just so everyone knows, you have Surge, Royal Ravens, Gorillas, and Legion all out. Everybody
and
else is
that'll
in.
probably be available for you guys around the 15th would be my guess. We'll probably do it the Sunday
Yeah.
before. So it gives a little bit of time for everyone to go check it out. But yeah, we'll do a full champs preview. So we're not going to dive into what we think is going to happen or ranking teams. We'll save a whole little segment for Call of Duty. So
Yeah,
don't you
because there's a
worry.
lot to discuss. Like New York is apparently having some inner turmoil with Clayster and things like this, and a lot of drama. And it's just normal COD stuff where it's like you have the whole season and then champs come around, and it's honestly a different. You could, and I understand that's why people argue that every team should be allowed in champs because it's truly the season doesn't matter when you're in champs. It's like it's its own mini season. That being said, if you think every team should make champs, you need to get the hell out of here. Okay? You got winners and losers. If you couldn't win enough for a whole season to get into the top 8, you probably weren't winning champs anyways. So,
I would make it even worse for them and just say the bottom 2 are eliminated. That way, it's even a smaller group of people that have to feel that pain and feel isolated, and just to make it a little bit,
well, that's what they
make
did
it hurt a
last
little
year,
bit
right?
more.
I don't even know how champs,
No, last year everybody got to participate.
but it was the last 2 that didn't get any money, right? So it's like,
Last-
yeah, you got
last
to
2
go.
places didn't.
Guess what? You get to play, but see,
You
at
don't get
least
a dime.
here, everyone's getting money. The top
Getting
8 at least
something.
gets money.
I think who was it? Was it London or it might have been London. I think they only earned 10K for the season in winnings.
Think that pays for their salary, or
You think they're going to be on the team next year? No way.
oh, and people wonder why rosters get shuffled around and orgs have to drop out so much in esports. All right, so there you have it. Some stage 5 CDL talk. Other than that, on the grab bag, I actually wanted to discuss this. You brought it to my attention. I tweeted it out on the Center Ring Twitter, so go at the Center Ring and check it out from a couple days ago, as of this recording. But it is a interview by the YouTuber Sparkles. He does a lot of CS content, former CS pro, things like that. So he did an interview, I guess, some time ago with a CS hacker, and then another hacker responded to him and said, that guy's all wrong. Let me do an interview with you. So he did it, and it's a short one. You know, it's like, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
15, 20 minutes. It's a good, easy watch. And it's fascinating talking to a hacker that has zero guilt about what he does. And he's very honest.
And showing his screen.
You get to see it from the hacker's point of view, which, you know, I guess it's probably always been there. Hell, for a while there, if you just went to YouTube's live section, that's all that was on YouTube gaming for the longest time were CS hackers. But seeing it from his perspective and explaining what it all does, Anuj, it's fascinating, it's depressing, it's rage-inducing. You'll question, you will want to just rage uninstall every single game.
I mean, the most fascinating thing that I learned from this whole interview is I think he's been using the same hack since like 2016 or something.
Yeah, he says, and it's only like one person using the hacks that the systems that they use has, I think, been caught, and it wasn't like I don't understand what he was saying in it,
It
but
was a crouch movement. So like in with a part of this hack, that's how sophisticated it is. Right now, if you spam crouch, you'll get hit with like a delay at some point. You can't constantly crouch up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, with their hack, you have the ability to do that. So the person that got banned was repeatedly hitting it, and it must have triggered something that hey, this guy is doing something that
yeah.
you shouldn't be able to do. And so that's the one person that got banned. And they have a community of I don't know, I think he said 11,000, 12,000 members,
12,000 I think is what it was at the
you
time.
know, that are paying for this hack. And Tim's right. When he says the word fascinating, the amount of things that he was able to customize and do, some features that I like that I think should be added into the game,
Yeah,
but
not all bad.
others that I was like, "Oh my god, like, we don't stand a chance. If this is the stuff that's available, we don't stand a chance."
So and I guess this again, just my pea-sized brain. When you think of hackers, you think wall hacking and aimbotting, spin
And
botting.
maybe speed hack or something, you know?
Very few times, but yeah,
But
speed
stuff
hacking.
that's really obvious, I
Right.
guess, is what we're saying. Generally, fairly obvious if somebody's using an aimbot because they're not good, so you can tell when it snaps onto people. A wall hack, somebody's staring at somebody through a wall, right? Like these are a spin bot, obviously. Speed hack, obvious when it's happening. This had some stuff in here though that could just think you're playing against a very skilled player.
Yeah, so some of them, um, and I guess and he even said he was like, part of being a good hacker is hiding it. Like you still have to have. Now this is according. Take this with a grain of salt because it's coming from the hacker, right? The hacker was saying, no, you still have to be really good at the game to be a good hacker. I would argue that there's probably a reason you're a hacker, but that's just my 2 cents. Uh, but like it puts up like a ghost of you. So your actual hitboxes are behind the wall, but there's the ghost of your character peeking still. So it's like I would be shooting who I thought would be the person, right? But in reality, it's not. It's just a fake frame of the character. And then all of a sudden, he can whip around and actually finish me off.
And this is where you probably have a lot of people raging at the game thinking that their like hit detection is crap or like, oh, I can't believe that missed. Well, now it's like, wait a minute. Now that I know that they could do that, like if this person is potentially cheating, it makes sense. I mean, some of the fascinating things were they have like preset grenade or smokes and stuff that go to a very specific spot. So he hits one button and it triggers a command to throw the smoke line up perfectly. Another one for movement, like if you wanted to hit crazy hops and get into to boost spots on your own that you're able to do, but like maybe 5% of people in the game can actually do it. This hack had commands that allowed him to press one button and it would execute the bunny hop for him and do exactly what he needed it to do. Really intricate.
Now, I will say the whole, because they had like marked on the map where to line up for smokes. If someone like that should just be on a practice map, and I would sit there all day practicing smokes.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice.
Some of the harmless hacks, like they could change like the skybox, so like for him it looked like he was in like outer space or whatever.
Galaxy type
That's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
One hack you can be in third person. Could you imagine third person in Counter Strike?
That'd be pretty sick.
Like because for real, because I mean, you're essentially like wall hacking in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Like
All
if
those,
he's just sitting there, like, but if you're watching him, okay, well he's not wall hacking because he's not really looking at the wall. But all of a sudden it's like, no, he's actually just third person looking around that way. So I mean, I would honestly take the 15, 20 minutes. I tweeted it out at the center ring. Watch it for yourself to see it because it is truly fascinating to see that it's not just the generic. Like I thought it was like some like little
it's just crazy to see how sophisticated it is. I
right.
mean, it's just so intricate and every little detail is covered on this one application for him to be able to do. I mean, it's very well thought out, and there's a reason they charge monthly or yearly
yeah.
subscriptions to use these services and why it's so profitable. And he also believes Valve allows it to happen because they're a big part of like
Which we've said for years, right?
in community and all that. Yeah, like
I
it's
mean,
just
his
crazy.
inventory alone is worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
He's walking around with a doppelganger knife, worth thousands of dollars in his inventory. And he's like, I honestly play with zero fear of ever getting caught or banned by Valve. Because right now the Overwatch feature is even not working properly because the hackers have figured out a way to where, say they didn't like someone, they can report them, get it in Overwatch, and pretty much spam the account with Overwatch cases automatically getting it banned.
Yeah.
So
they had to disable, feature,
that. So that's not even working properly now because of hackers. So it's insane. You got to check it out. Like I said, I don't know if it will help your case playing CS and Valorant because he says it's in every single game. He said that he knows of professional players that hack. He didn't give any names, but he says, like, I know that they're out there. He's like, I know some of them. So it doesn't really, if you're having a bad day and you need to reconfirm your faith in humanity, don't watch it. But if you are wanting to kind of take a look on the dark side and see what hacking is like, I would highly suggest it because it's fascinating.
And we're probably going to play a game of Counter-Strike after this.
But that being said, I still stand by my thoughts that I would rather play with a hacker than those two morons that we played with last night.
100%.
I would rather just knowingly stand no chance against someone than that. Again, and the funny part in the video was when the hacker was like, oh, I only hack against other hackers, though. I only hack against other hackers. Okay, bud. Okay. Sure you do.
I mean, whatever you're telling yourself to sleep at night, sure.
Yeah, whatever you say, you're only turning them on against other hackers as you queue up with other hackers. Okay. All right. Sure. The only other thing I felt like Sparkles didn't really push him on, and he was like, well, why do you hack? And he was like, well, I started hacking because of hackers. So he was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well hack as well. He didn't answer, like, I think he was like, okay, that's how you started, but why do you do it? Like, what enjoyment do you have playing a game that you're not actually, you're not playing Counter-Strike?
I think it's like also it feels like a game of chess at that level of hacking, right? Of trying not to get caught.
Do you think it's just the rush, the knowing that he's doing something wrong?
Probably be my guess at least.
So I don't know. Just go check it out though. It is an awesome quick interview.
Crazy interview.
One last thing I wanted to bring up for the grab bag of Nuge, and we'll just spend a couple of minutes discussing this game, is Splitgate. Now, it is blown up over the last, I would say, couple weeks from what I've said or seen. Someone in Discord asked, hey, have anyone heard of this game called Splitgate? It's blowing up on Twitter and YouTube and all that with highlights, or TikTok and all that.
Oh, so he missed our 2019 episode?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I used to play Splitgate like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, why is it just now blowing up all of a sudden? And it really is. Like, I'm seeing pros like Nadeshot and all these big influencers and streamers all of a sudden talking about Splitgate and played Splitgate for the first time today. And, oh, man, you got to test out Splitgate. And I'm thinking, Anuj, was I an influencer? Like, was I ahead of the curve on this? Because we discussed about this game on this very show back in 2019. In fact, I have a highlight on YouTube of me playing it from 2019. I posted in the Big Dick Play section on our Discord.
And for all you sponsors out there, look at the kind of influence we have. We played it in 2019, and it only took till August 4th, 2021 for this to really take off.
Blew up because of us. That's what I'm gathering here. So
I mean, yeah, they got a bunch of funding recently.
Yeah, $10 million funding. So that's, I mean, first off,
funding,
congratulations on it because it's a small development team.
Yeah, awesome.
In fact, we were supposed to have the developers on the show 2 years ago because we did an episode back in 2019 discussing potential future esports games. And this was on the top of my list as far as having potential to be a successful esport. And they, I guess, heard the episode or we tweeted at them about it. And then they reached out to us to come on the show. And then in the meantime, though, I don't think the game was doing that well. And they didn't want to come on anymore. So,
that's what we assumed. Like they all of a sudden randomly canceled after reaching out to
very talkative, and then all of a sudden the game, like, I think kind of went on to the next phase of beta and it didn't do well. So they ghosted us. I don't think they want to come on. So understandable, whatever. But the long story short is, you guys are slow on this. We played this game 2 years ago. So
Now it'll be fun to see what they do with the extra funding, like how much
right.
they can clean it up and
Because it is a
it
fun game. I remember having a lot of fun on it. I remember thinking, though, back then even, this is a really fun game. Halo is going to destroy it because it's a small development team.
if there was a lot of similarities outside of the Portal aspect, you could tell that the developers have some Halo in them, right? In terms of the type of games or shooters they enjoy playing. So I still think that might be the case, right? Like I think this will be a good game for you'll see a lot of Halo people come and probably play this
Right.
up until Halo releases if they're not playing an older Halo or something like that. But and then from there they have to capitalize on the people that are playing now. Like you better start to lay out a plan here to keep this going past the Halo release. So it'll
Right.
be fun to see what they do. They got a ton of money, gives them an opportunity to make a better game.
If you want to
You
really
know,
know how cool we were before Splitgate was cool, Anuj, we played it before it was even called Splitgate. Fun fact, we met them in DreamHack Austin. Remember? That's how we
yeah,
got into the game. That's how we got into like the super early alphas. We met the
yeah, yeah.
guys in Austin. And it was like seriously like a team of 5. It was called Wormhole Wars.
Is that what it was?
Yes, it was called Wormhole Wars. I specifically remember getting the code, downloading it, wanting to play it. I had a ton of fun playing it. I was like, Anuj, you need to play this. You said, what game? I said, Wormhole Wars. You said, that's the stupidest fucking name I've ever heard, and you never played it.
Sounds like something I would say.
Eventually you did, but you were like, that's the dumbest name I've ever heard for a game. I'm not going to play it.
But to be fair, Splitgate sounds 100 times better.
Yes. Yes. I think they had to change it. They changed it, I think, for an actual reason, but yeah, it also sounds a million times better.
It's 10 million times better than Wormhole Wars.
So yes, I don't know this Splitgate game people are talking about. I was a professional Wormhole Wars player, so not a big deal. Not a big deal. So anyways, though, super happy for the game gaining popularity. It's always fun to see one. Also, though, I am having like major like fear of missing out. Like I want to go and play it again because it's like, this is my game. Like people are playing my game right now. I dominated this game 2 or 3 years ago. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I'll just wait. I'll wait for Battlefield and Halo. All right, so there you go. Grab bag discussions done. Let's get into some e-news real quick before we do that. E-news is brought to you by Philly Esports. Go to phillyesports.net right now and you can check out a handful of upcoming events that they are sponsoring along with the U.S. Army. August 14th, Saturday, August 14th, is their Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War series, the best of 5 search, control, and hardpoint. So this is not Warzone. I repeat, not Warzone. So go ahead and sign up with your boys, and you can do that August 14th. And on August 28th is their second cup of Rocket League. So you can go ahead and sign that up, 3v3 with a $2,000 prize pool there. Best of all, it's all free signups. So if you're a smaller org looking to get some easy victories, this is your chance. If you are a no-name wanting to get out there in the spotlight, this is your chance. If you are old and you just want to relive the glory days, this is your chance. phillyesports.net. All right, let's get in to some e-news. Wolf says that he's probably going to wait for Splitgate's full release or until servers get increased. Yeah, because I hear like the queue times are ridiculously long right now.
I think they just pushed it back to August for the release date, so we should see it.
So you want to know what's funny? Is the reason I stopped playing Splitgate is because the queue times were long as well. But not because they were full, but because there were so little people playing the game, I couldn't find a server. Like, it was taking me like 10 minutes to find a game. And Daddy Tim does not have that time.
It'd be a little different now, I'm sure.
Right. So it's just funny how it's like, I stopped playing the game because it was dead, dead. And now people are having to wait to play because it's so busy. So again, awesome. Good for them. That's awesome. All right. So some e-news to knock out here in CS. Fnatic announced that they signed Mezzy and Alex finds a new home.
Yeah, Alex getting a second chance, and they've now gone to an international roster. You know, Fnatic's no longer like a Swedish roster, which is weird because it's been that way
Forever.
for as long as I can remember. And so, good signings though. Mezzy has been really good. He's kind of been popping off on endpoint, and Alex, although he has something to prove still,
Built
he's
for
also
LAN.
proven a lot. Yeah, and he is built for LAN. So I'm excited for the pickups. I think they're good moves. I think they're moves that needed to happen, honestly. So be a little fresh look for Fnatic and see if they can climb their way back up.
Peter announces his retirement. North American player, which if you're new to the scene of CS, you may have never heard or seen Peter. But he announces his retirement from the pro scene as he is going to focus on something completely more reliable than being a professional gamer. He's going to focus on professional poker playing.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he was like trolling or not with that, but either way, that's pretty awesome that he's got the confidence to do so, and he must be pretty damn good to make that move. But Peter's been a long time vet of the scene and really good dude, really good family. We had a chance to interview him and had a chance to meet his parents at one of the
weirdest
events.
Experiences. Yes, we got to watch them play when he was on NRG here in Dallas. We watched the match with his parents, like sitting on the same couch.
And it was fun.
Was
we
fun.
enjoyed it. We had a really good
Just
conversation with them, and
they're
they
nice,
were so supportive.
nice people.
And it was badass to see. So sad to see him leave the scene, but we're kind of used to it at this point with NACS.
And if poker doesn't work out,
real quick before we move on from CSGO, are we getting something big or not? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Counter-Strike's putting out all these fleets, which are no longer available now on Twitter, rest in peace. But Counter-Strike's been putting out all this stuff and kind of like making it seem like they're hyping up something. And now I'm just freaking waiting. Like,
my issue here is
happening, but I don't know what.
Is there anything that they can do that would like? I just don't think they would do anything that would live up to the hype they're creating. Like it's going to be
seasons change the ranking system, 128 matchmaking.
Do you see them doing that though?
I see them having, at least I see the thought having crept in their mind that we need to do something. So whether they look at their Steam numbers and they're like, hey, our Steam numbers are great right now. In fact, they're some of the highest they've ever been. Eventually, for those that are not playing ESEA or Face It or willing to pay for a premium service, you just won't stay with the game. Like is good enough experience to stay with it.
What if they don't give us anything because their slogan just has to be Valve? We're the only big company without sexual assault.
I mean, it's a good thing.
like they can that can be their marketing scheme.
Like they could do that along with doing something too. Like
again,
either sexually harass or make a good game. You better be doing something in that office. Like what are you doing in there?
If they release like seasons and a proper matchmaking, they can get away with a lot in my eyes. They really could.
Yeah. I'm sitting there hoping. Like I would love to be playing Counter-Strike again more consistently. Unfortunately, every time we have that itch and we go back,
it's a miserable experience.
It's not like a great
it's
I still have a little bit of an itch to play like right now. Like,
yeah, I know. We're gonna play, but it's
one
not
of those
fun.
Things where it's a love-hate relationship. I love the game so much, yet I hate how it gets manhandled. Like it's just
going shopping with your wife.
Like, why do I feel like they're an indie developer that I'm waiting to get funding?
Right.
Like that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah. No, we'll see. It's probably all just for nothing. VCT playoffs are kicking off here in about a week or so, so we are going to save all VCT talk for our playoff preview show, which I think will be on Sunday. So Mark your calendars on that. In other news, Rocket League has announced that they are working on voice chat. So eventually we will see a world where Rocket League has voice chat. All I have to say is Rocket League people, be careful what you wish for.
I mean, I think it's a good thing if you're trying to continue to build the competitive side and seeing that.
If anything, it will be worth it for like the high ranks, right? Where like the good people are actually trying to communicate, right? That will probably be worth it. For like the low ranks where everyone feels like they're good but being held back by teammates, it's going to be a quick mute on my end.
There's always going to be some bad crap involved, but overall, that's a positive step. I feel like that they're taking. Like it's a fun way to meet people, like-minded people. You're gonna meet some unlike-minded people as well in there, but
I guess the worst case scenario is you just mute your team and you're right back into old Rocket League anyways.
Like you're gonna hear the same 4 or 5 emotes being yelled out then, so not a big deal.
3DFX Interactive is coming back, Anuj. I'm sure that there are listeners of this show right now that have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I know, probably not, because it's been 20 years since we have seen anything from them.
They're computer parts, kids. So we'll see.
They were the premier. Like you went into the store looking for like how you would look at EVGA or whatever other big manufacturers are out there that you follow, XFX and all these guys. Like these guys were it. And yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see what they are doing.
Yeah, announcement tomorrow. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Blizzard had announced that Diablo Immortal releasing first half of 2022. So a little surprised that it's taking this long for a game that I felt like was a copy and paste from any other Chinese game, but hey.
2 things that annoy me about this: the timing of them announcing the release. It's like, guys, quick, get your hands off the tits. Give them a freaking release date for something, like real fast. Like throw it out there. Let's see if we can distract them so we can go back to doing what we're doing. Like the timing seems a little weird to all of a sudden.
I would have loved to have seen the tweets on that one. Like,
well, the other part of it is it's like they just gave us something that we knew was kind of happening. Like set a freaking date. What is this first half of 2022 bullshit? Like I don't care about that. Give me a date and then it means something, right? Like I can hold you somewhat accountable. As we've seen, accountability is just not their thing over there. So instead of like giving an actual release date, you just throw something out to deflect. And that's how I took this announcement, because what is first half of 2022? Like that's a 6-month span that this game can come out. That's a long time.
Yeah, that is
again, it just felt like something to throw out there to get people to like talk about something else for a minute. And unfortunately they did it with the game that, although will be immensely popular on mobile,
people already hate. Like it already has a bad taste in people's mouths, so we'll see. A game though that doesn't have bad taste, Anuj, New World, Amazon announced, which is still weird to say that Amazon announced something in gaming, but they have announced that New World will be delayed September 28th, which I think is just about a month delayed from its original release date.
Yep, exactly a month back. And I think the only thing surprising here is that they had the release date set so close to after the beta ended. It made you feel like that they weren't going to be able to like change and fix anything in time to get it out, because like it's just not enough time. Like a month to fix all the bugs that people were going to encounter in this massive beta, which skyrocketed. I mean, numbers were crazy. It was #1 on Twitch. Like it did a lot for the brand of the game. It's good. This is good that they're going back to the lab. Give them an extra month. Take out some of the kinks. Make sure there's no glitches. Make sure you don't have people getting to 60 in 5 hours. Like things like that. I'm okay with an extra month. Does it suck? Yes, because we're in a lull right now, right? We stopped our WoW time and trying to kind of figure out what to do. But I would much rather have a polished game and a good experience than a rush game. And the glitches that we just encountered, they didn't fix. Then guess what? Our next episode is, oh, look at this stupid company who was given all this information and chose to do nothing with it because they released a beta a month before their official release date.
Yeah, it's just enough time for us to play more Counter-Strike, realize that we want to kill ourselves doing it, and get back into New World September 28th. So, yeah. We're going to play it. If you are going to play it, hit us up in Discord, because you need SWAT team coordination to play together. So a lot of decisions have to be made when you're making your character, and you have to do it right.
Not only the same server, but you got to be the same faction. So
Yes.
it's
A
important
lot
that we
has to
discuss
go
this
together.
beforehand, ladies and gentlemen. So
Yes.
if you are playing, let us know, and we'll coordinate that together.
Yep, 100%. But I agree. I think you're right. It's the vocal minority on Twitter and everywhere else that are upset about this, because it's like, I think people forget what a beta is. Give credit to Amazon for actually running a beta, finding out that there are enough bugs, obviously crunching the numbers and saying, okay, we have enough people and manpower, and these bugs can be fixed within a 2-month time frame. If we give ourselves that time, we can make it work. Let's delay it and make it work.
People are just frustrated because it's just another delay.
Like,
right?
that's,
like,
but
they
that's
were
like
already delayed 1 year.
Right.
Their only flaw, I thought, was having a release date in a beta so close together.
And
initially,
I didn't play it before the first delay, but you did. And look how it worked. They delayed it a year, and now you're buying the game when originally you were like, burn it. It sucks.
Literally, I advised all of my friends after my first playthrough in one of the betas that I got again. I don't even know if it was alpha or beta or what the hell it was. It was early when we like a couple thousands of people got to play initially. It was trash. Like straight trash, and I literally told all of my friends, don't waste your time. Don't even go watch Twitch videos. It's not worth the time. And after 1 year, like you said, we've all pre-ordered, we've given them our $40. We're excited for the game. And so I can wait another month for them to polish it up and give us a good playing experience. But excited, very excited for the game.
Yep, I am too. So there you have it. That's E-News. And that is the episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening, whether you tuned in live or listened to the show, skipped around, all the same. Love you. But that does it for episode 347 of The Center Ring, presented by Alt. We will be back Sunday night, maybe Monday night. Just got to keep an eye on Twitter and Discord so we know when we're going. But we will talk some VCT playoffs, as that is right around the corner. See what we can expect from that. Maybe get someone on to discuss it with us. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But that will be then. This is now. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Get into the Discord. If you want to play some Counter-Strike, hit us up. Valorant, anything like that. You hit us up. We're down to play. DTP. But that's it. That's all I got. So for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.